All right, there we go. All right, we're on. All right, little technical difficulty here. We're going with the Shut Up Dave podcast. I actually cleaned up the apartment a little bit, and if I'm still dripping a little bit, I apologize. Just got out of the shower. Did do the early morning workout. So we'll have this on Facebook Live, and we'll post it on YouTube, and we'll try to get some videos on as well. All right. We're going to have to get back in the swing of things. It's been, 6 weeks since I've done a show. The difference would be is that I'm used to not taking phone calls, so I don't have to worry about that. But you're certainly welcome to put on your comments. Logan Marks, good morning. Brian Viator, good morning. Glad to have you aboard. We'll take the audio from this and we'll put it on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, things that I'm just learning about. All right. Also, I need to obviously not knock the desk because it seems like my tripod is not working. And good morning, Dave Kalen. And a happy Corpus Christi Barracudas morning to you as well. All right, so lots to talk about. LSU baseball, UL baseball going into the tank a little bit, and Cajun softball with the Sun Belt Conference championship, regular season championship, I think they're up to 19 in a row and 27 of their last 28. Georgia State's just not very good over the weekend. Little spunky, as they hadn't been run ruled in Sun Belt play, and they were run ruled twice out of the 3 games, Friday and Saturday. Remember Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But I'll tell you, if I had to take a wild stab on the week, the Monday morning before the NFL draft, and towards the end of April for LSU baseball and UL baseball, and Cajun softball is only got like 2 more weekends left to go before the Sun Belt Conference tournament. Who would have thought that we would have started here with LSU gymnastics? All right. And this is one of the things, and I really hope this doesn't come off as patronizing. I really don't want this to be the case because, I've always been fascinated by this since I've gotten here. I'll be honest with you. I really didn't pay attention to women's sports before I came to South Louisiana. Maybe a little UConn basketball, but that's only when they're in the Final Four or if they lose. But other than that, not into women's sports, all right? I love softball because it's fast, usually powerful, usually really good pitching. These games don't last 3 hours or 3.5 like a baseball game does, all right? And the gymnastics is fascinating to think, a couple years ago, gymnastics, it still may be, right? Now, I know basketball is in a little bit of trouble. We'll see what happens at the end. Will Wade, you got a new AD coming in, but it was LSU football, LSU baseball, and then gymnastics was higher on the rung in terms of what's being successful at LSU women's sports. And for whatever reason, I don't think, good morning, guys. Bob Schuler, Brendan, I appreciate it. For whatever reason, to me, and it's just me, how the women seem to be enjoying competing more than the men. Just for competitive sake. They just seem to like it more, right? Remember a couple years ago, and of course probably a bunch of old white guys from the NCAA tournament told the girls in softball, no props, stop having fun, stop doing your little songs and dances and routines, stop bringing the stuffed animals, you can't do that, you need to take it seriously. I thought that was pretty cool. Big difference between the NCAA tournament in baseball and the NCAA tournament in softball. And just to see the joy on the girls' faces when they compete. And it's even that way, I think, when they do something bad, right? When Gunnar Leger or Zach Hess or whomever gives up a home run, it seems to me like it's the end of the world. It really does. They just have the weight of the world on them, whether it's for the program or, oh no, the scout's not going to like that pitch, or whatever the case is. It just seems like that's the weight of the world. When Summer Ellison gives up a home run, give me the ball back, we're going again. That's what it just seems like to me. And now Darren Rovell is out. I guess he's with the Action Network. And he's telling you that you can't put up a billboard for runner-up. Why not? All right. First of all, gymnastics is a lot different than the other sports we're used to, right? I mean, gymnastics, although much more athletic than bowling and or golf, there's no defense, right? It really is. We hear this a lot, even from Paul Maneri or Ed Orgeron or Tony Robichaux or Billy Napier or before that Mark Hutchinson. It's about us. It's about us. It's about what we do. It's not about what they do. Well, in football or in basketball or in baseball, it's a little bit about what they do. In gymnastics, it's all about what you do. You can't stop the other team. It's all about what you do, and they do there on their own. And so LSU had scored the highest they ever had, and don't ask me about the scoring in the gymnastics. I don't get it, but whatever. They had their best outcome ever, and they finished second. So they pull a billboard up. Darren Ravel says, good morning, Mary Lou. How are you? Roger Adams, good morning. Darren Ravel says you can't put up a billboard for coming in second place. Really? Do you know how many Final Four banners that Duke has in Cameron Indoor? You think Texas Tech is not going to raise a Final Four championship game banner? They didn't win it. I don't get it why you can't do that. I don't understand. All right. Now, football, maybe not. You've won a championship. But you don't think that if, say, the FBI and the NCAA and the whole Will Wade mess didn't come to fruition and they finished second, do you not understand the kind of run? Has LSU ever played for a national championship game? Right? They've been in the Final Four a few times, but I don't think they've ever played for a national championship game, right? I don't think so. Right? 81? Or was it 80, right? 86? And that's it. And they lost in the semis. Or 87. Well, 87 they lost in the... That's when Bob Knight slammed the phone down and didn't get a ticket. But don't you think that LSU would have done something for basketball if they came in second? Yeah, they would have. You don't think the Rams are going to raise an NFC championship banner at home? It's one thing if the Patriots do it with all their Super Bowls, all right? It's another thing. When were the Rams? I mean, the LA Rams haven't been doing it forever. So I don't get it. I think you can do... congratulations, national runner-up. Should be very proud. And just to see that, how happy the girls were, how happy the young ladies were in competing. They looked like they were having fun. Were they sad that they lost? You bet. I don't think Zach Cass and Gunnar Lachey and the guys are any much more competitive. I don't think the baseball is more competitive than the softball. I just think the girls like it more. I don't know if it's because there's no professional aspirations afterwards. I know there's a fast-pitch softball league, but that seems to be more summer activity than anything else. It doesn't seem as though it's a profession. It's something to do and enjoy yourself, but probably you need another job in the offseason, right? Camp counselor Bert Pressburg checking in from California, I believe. 1979. David Lewin, Bert Pressburg, Camp Seneca Lake. Good morning, Dr. Pressburg. So I don't understand it. I don't have a problem with what LSU did, putting up a billboard. I get more joy out of watching the women compete because I think they get more joy out of it. That's just my sentiment. If you guys have a thought on that, you're certainly welcome to tune in. It just seems like they're more about the prototypical student athlete, what you're looking for, right? We're talking about paying athletes all the time, and the NFL and college football and college basketball. It just seems like the girls are there to get an education and to play their sports, and they enjoy it. Are they sad when they lose? You bet. It doesn't seem to be the end of the world, though. I've discovered Magic Bullet Coffee. Hopefully I can last a half an hour. Good morning, Kevin Cornett from Key Largo. How are we doing down in the Keys? Look, I saw you, I saw your post yesterday, my friend. Your vacation is my hometown. So, pretty good. Yeah, and pretty good spot to be. All right, it's the Shut Up Dave podcast. This is episode number 1. Let's talk about Cajuns baseball here, because it's been a wild and wacky week in like 10 days. This team was about to lose 4 in a row a week ago Saturday. It was looking bad. It was not looking good at all for the Raging Cajuns baseball team. They had just gotten... They had won. They had actually taken 2 out of 3 from Arkansas State. Then they get embarrassed by La Tech 11-3. Then they lose to McNeese State 6-3. And then they, lose to South Ale 9-2 on a Friday night. They're down 4-0 first thing on a Saturday against South Alabama. 4-0. They come back and win that ball game 8-4. They actually win the series with a 4-1 victory on Sunday in a very well-pitched ball game by Jack Burke. And then they had the come-from-ahead victory against LSU, right? Up 3-0, down 5-3. Vayon and Monica with back-to-back home runs. Vayon, a 2-run shot, tied it up, and Monica, the go-ahead home run. And they beat, both teams are banged up. But it's a nice win down in Metairie. The Wally Pontiff Junior Classic, always a good ball game. And it was a good baseball game. Good baseball game, right? Gabe Beloso, a big 3-run home run that tied it up off the foul pole down the right. He had an RBI single that I think brought in the go-ahead run at one point in time. But the Cajuns were all of a sudden off and running and have won 3 in a row, including over ranked LSU. They're up 8-4 against UTA, basically right now, record-wise, the best team in the Sun Belt. They're going to win this ball game. They're up 8-4 in the 8th inning. Gunnar Leger on the mound. He came into the 7th to get the final out. At the time, up 5-4. They tack on 3 more runs. It's 8-4. They're going to be in 5th place after this ball game. I think they were tied for 5th going into it, and with the teams that have lost and everything, they're going to be in 5th place with maybe a chance to get a top 4 seed in this tournament. And we know by now that the only way that the Cajuns are getting to the NCAA tournament, which Robe admitted last Monday, although he doesn't like to do that, is to win the Sun Belt Conference tournament. That's it. That's the only way they're doing it. All right? That's the only way. And if somehow they win the Sun Belt this year, somehow they get healthy in the last month of the year and get hot for basically a week, God bless them. But all of a sudden, that 8-4 ball game went the other way. Gunnar just did not have it. Hitting guys, walking guys. Gets out of the 8th inning, up 8-7. Gets into trouble in the 9th. Hayden Cantrell can't handle a game-ending double play ball. That opens up the floodgates. They lose 9-8. Then they go lose 7-3 after having a 3-2 late in the game. And then they got beat 9-5 on Sunday. They got swept. They went from the 5th seed, if they won Friday night, down to the 9th seed. Now they're in danger of not making the Sun Belt Conference tournament. They got to make sure they finish in the top 10. Otherwise, they're in big trouble. They may not make it. They got to turn this around. All right, and that's a bad weekend. There's just nothing to say about that. You have an 8-4 lead on UTA. You have Brandon Young going for you on Saturday night, and you blow it. That's a bad loss for the Cajuns. Bad loss for the Cajuns. So they've won 3 in a row. They lost 3 in a row, won 3 in a row, and now have lost 3 in a row. In fact, they haven't lost too many Sun Belt Conference. They were 1 game over heading into the weekend in the Sun Belt. So they beat South Al. They actually took 2 out of 3 from Arkansas State. They did lose 2 out of 3 at Troy, though they did win on Sunday. They did lose 2 out of 3 against App State. No, they did take 2 out of 3 against Little Rock. So they need to turn it around fast. They need to turn it around fast and not to win 1 game in Arlington. And let's be honest, that Friday night game spilled over to the rest of the weekend. It's tough when you have an 8-4 lead in the 8th inning. And Gunnar Leger, who has been in and out of the rotation, he's been in and out, coming out of the bullpen, he's all banged up, trying to give the Cajuns 1, 2, 3 innings here. Personally, and I know Tony wants to do this, personally, I would leave him in the bullpen, Friday night's outing notwithstanding. All right, I'm a guy that would rather see Gunnar Leger pitch 4 innings, 2 on a Friday, 2 on a Sunday, than give me 5 on a Friday night. I'll figure out Friday night. I need to figure out that 8th and 9th inning. And if Gunnar could be Gunnar, which he was not on Friday, I keep him in the bullpen. All right. Kevin Cantrell, good morning, sir. Having said that, Hayden booted the ball. Look at his stats. He's in the top 10 in hits. I think he's like 3rd in the conference in hits. He's hitting 325. He's just outside of the top 10 in batting average. He's high in runs scored, high in on-base percentage. Hayden Cantrell is having, after a tremendously slow start, is having a Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year type season. I don't know if he's going to get it. but he's having a real good season offensively. All right, defensively a little shaky to begin with, and obviously costly are on Friday night. Well, let's see if they can turn around. They get Southern Miss tomorrow in Hattiesburg. I mean, that's kind of how about that travel? They went to Metairie, came home, slept, got up Wednesday, went to UT Arlington. I guess they did come back Saturday, so they were here Sunday to spend Easter. We'll probably have a press conference here Monday, and then they're going to go to Southern Miss. Come back, and then they get Texas State here at home. All right, and you really have to take 2 out of 3, if not all 3, against Texas State. They're in a bad spot. Cajuns are in a bad spot right now, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with them down the road. See if anybody got hurt over the weekend. See if they keep their heads up. All right, LSU, meanwhile, they're banged up as well. Watson's hurt, right? Chris Reed is hurt. Zach Hess came in. Very odd that Paul Mainieri admitted, I don't want to bring you in and get you hurt again, but if you don't pitch, you're going to be having not pitched for 2 weeks. I'd rather have him not pitch for 2 weeks, personally, than have a chance of him getting hurt. I'm not sure why that was done, although I guess I do understand the thought process of what Paul Mainieri is saying. So LSU coming off the bad loss against UL. Hilliard did not have a good outing on Thursday. A bad outing, bad outing. But the Tigers bounced back. Florida, for the first time in forever, doesn't have any pitching at all. The worst pitching team in the SEC. And so the Tigers absolutely took advantage of that. Their bats got going. All right. And so they're only one game out of first place in the SEC West. And isn't this the same thing? The only difference here is the injuries have gotten the Tigers this year compared to others. And if that's Greg Brown from Janesville Dwight High School, good morning. I know a couple of Greg Browns, but that's the one that I know in the morning. Keenan Alamon, good morning to you as well. Hope all is well. This is the first episode of the Shut Up Dave podcast. Again, we will put it on YouTube. We'll put it on the link on Twitter, and it'll be on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher. Also, if you could please like and share, that would help me out as well. LSU, meanwhile, again, this has been always the case, right? They always get off to a slow start and then seem to figure it out around this time. And they kind of had to take 2 out of 3 from Florida. They kind of had to, right? I mean, the goal with LSU baseball is, at least for the regular season, let's see if we can find this out. College baseball RPI. The idea for LSU in the regular season is to be a national seed. That's what they're trying to do, right? Let's see what Warren Nolan has them as. They're at 19, so they're not any kind of seed right now. they're not getting a regional, according to Warren Nolan. I'm not sure how that is different from, let's see here, D1 baseball, NCAA RPI. They were 15. They dropped to 19. We'll see what they are this week. That was a few days ago. All right, that was before the weekend series. So they took 2 out of 3 from Florida. They should move up. All right, you need Zach Hess back in there. Although he's just not. I'm sorry. Maybe he should be pitching on Saturdays, right? Maybe it's Cole Henry's turn to pitch on a Friday. Right? Could you do that? Can we switch that up? Right. Remember, it was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, so Cole Henry would be pitching on a Friday. I would move Cole Henry to Friday night, put Zach Hess on Saturday, and then I guess you have Eric Walker on Sunday. That's what I would do. To me, Zach Hess is just not that Friday night starter. You don't have many more options as we've seen, but he's He's not that consistent, locked down, I'm going 7 innings, giving up 2 runs or less kind of guy. He's just not. He's had some good outings. He's probably going to be a reliever in professional ranks, but I understand that LSU doesn't have anybody else. Bob says, I think you're right, LSU won't be hosting regional unless they get healthy and go on a tear. I don't know if they need to go on a tear. They just need to win some series, right? Let's see what the schedule is here. And again, the midweek games, I'm not sure how much that matters again. But they get Bama. Can you sweep Alabama? They're not very good. You get Ole Miss, they're ranked 17th. Take 2 out of 3 from them, you're in good shape. If you can go on the road and take 2 out of 3 from Arkansas, you'd be in good shape. And then you take 2 out of 3 at home against Auburn. You do have Lamar, La Tech, and New Orleans, UNL, for mid-game weeks. That's what's left. So not a whole lot of midweek ball games. Only 4 game weeks. So we'll see what happens. Again, I would put Cole Henry on Friday, Zach Hess on Saturday, and Eric Walker on Sunday. That's what I would do. Because Cole Henry is proving he's going to be a superstar. He seems to be the next Alex Lang. He seems to be the next Aaron Nola right now. It was supposed to be Landon Marceau. It was supposed to be Jaden Hill. And we'll see if those guys come back. Obviously, if you're going to go on a run deep into any kind of postseason play, you're going to need those guys to be healthy and pitch. And we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see when Nick Storrs comes back. He's not expected to pitch until May, but May is around the corner. May is next weekend, or next week. So we'll see if Nick Storrs ends up being healthy. It has been a long road for Nick Storrs. It has been a tough go. He has been banged up from arrival here. In the fall of 17? Yeah, he's been banged up for 2 years now. Pitched in a blink of an eye, hurt himself again. Hopefully they figured out what's wrong with him, and I bet he's coming out of the bullpen. Maybe it won't be until La Tech. We'll see if one of those games gets out of hand against Ole Miss. I can't imagine that Paul Mainieri is going to put him in a stressful situation. Or, maybe there's a blowout against Ole Miss, and you could put him in that point. And hopefully you're up, and you could put him in there for a little experience. But maybe I would look for La Tech when LSU gets Nick Storrs back. So we'll see. All right, this is the Shut Up Dave podcast right here on Facebook Live. We'll put it on YouTube. We'll get it on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. Please share. Please like it on Facebook. That helps me out a bunch. I also wanted to talk about the Will Wade situation. LSU hiring Scott Woodward, and I mean, how impressive is that? Because the hirings by Joe Oliva were not impressive. Even before I got here, Johnny Jones wasn't that good, although I'm not sure that was all Joe Oliva. I think there was some inside pressure to hire Johnny Jones. He tried to go get Jimbo Fisher not once but twice. Again, some of it not in his power. The Will Wade, we'll see how that turns out. It's got its plus and minuses. Do I think Will Wade will be coaching LSU come the fall? Yes. Do I think that's a slam dunk? No. All right, when Scott Woodward says they're going to win championships and try to do it the right way, Will Wade's got some explaining to do. Now, this has been going on for a month before Woodward was hired, right? This, stuff like that doesn't come together overnight. This was all planned out. They made sure that Scott Woodward was interested. Then they were going to fire Joe Oliva, and then they hired Scott Woodward. I mean, it all happened. It seemed to happen in 48 hours, right? Maybe even less. We were down in New Orleans in Metairie. Wasn't that a Tuesday? I didn't hear about it. And then the rumors came out Wednesday, and Woodward was hired officially by the next day. So he knew what was going to happen with Will Wade. Or he knew what he was going to do with Will Wade. as that was going to be part of the situation. All right, he's not coming into this blind. Now, I don't think he's going to fire anybody, May 1st, right? He was on Easter break. I don't know when he's going to start his job. Maybe May 1st is going to be the day. So I don't think he's going to come in here and fire Will Wade, but he's going to get an explanation from Will Wade as well. All right. So I don't think this is the end of it. Obviously, Will Wade catching a break where the prosecution prevented Christian Dawkins from bringing in Sean Miller and Will Wade as witnesses for the defense. The government, the feds said, nope, this has nothing to do with it. Just because you did what you did and they did what they did had nothing to do with what you did. Don't bring them into this to cloud what you did. So Will Wade gets a huge break, along with Sean Miller and probably others, not having to testify in this trial that's supposed to start today. But I don't think it's over by a long shot. I really don't. Again, will he be coaching next fall? Probably. Is it a slam dunk? I don't think so. I don't. I think he's going to have another conversation with his new boss. All right. And, boy, he was getting some bad advice. Let's be honest. He got some bad lawyerly advice. Because as soon as he got a new lawyer, Will Wade ended up being unsuspended. Reinstated is the word I was looking for. Sonny Sparrow. See, if I said Dr. Sonny Sparrow, if I said I was at the ball game when Dr. Sonny Sparrow had a half-court shot against Michael Jordan and the Carolina Tar Heels, Dr. Sonny Sparrow would say, no, three-quarter court shot, but who is counting? Good to see you, Dr. Sparrow. I was at that ball game. Oh, yeah. Well, that would have been, I think, 84, right? I think that was 84. Yeah. Ran into him when Syracuse came down for the Final Four in Houston. It was good to see him. I don't even know you, but you were very nice to me. And yeah, there it is, three-quarter court shot. Half-court shot at the buzzer. Yeah. Good stuff. So we'll see what happens with Wade. Again, will he be coaching? Probably. I still think there's some explaining to do, right? He's still on the wiretaps. That's, what's a strong-ass offer mean? Does a strong-ass offer mean, starting time, playing time? Right? What does that mean? And so he's got to come up with an explanation for that with his new boss. Although, again, I would think that Scott Woodward would come into this with an idea of what's going on with him. He's going to have an idea. And maybe he already spoke to him, for all I know. Woodward could have already spoken to Will Wade. This is going on for a month. Again, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think Scott Woodward's first thing he's going to do is fire Will Wade. But he's going to look into it. And if Woodward finds anything more, there's going to be an issue. If Woodward finds anything more on Will Wade, it could be done. All right, he could be done. We'll see. Again, will he be coaching? Probably. Is it a slam dunk? I don't think so. All right, we will. I think we have a Monday press conference with quickly Cajun softball. This is going to go, and you don't get all this. You don't get this kind of honesty honestly from coaches. But this weekend again, Georgia State's not very good. All right, whatever the case is, their batting average is .213, and their ERA is over 5. So they're not very good. All right, Cajuns struggled a little bit on Thursday, and then blew them out Friday and Saturday. The thing is, though, the Cajun softball team is going to be relying on Summer Ellison the whole way. She started all 3 games against Georgia State. So you don't get to ask until Saturday afternoon, what was the thought process about starting Summer Ellison? Jerry Glasgow comes out, well, we want her to get used to it. He didn't go, well, she didn't throw many pitches. She was okay. He came out and said, we're going with Summer Ellison. She's going to have to pitch all 3 games in a regional, and she's going to have to pitch that way in a super. They're going to go with Summer Ellison. Here's the problem with that. All right. First of all, is her shoulder going to fall off? She leads the nation in wins with 29, which is pretty sweet. She's up there in innings pitched. The problem is that when the Cajuns bats, and this is not the most prolific Cajuns offense we've seen, right? We've seen the Lexi Elkins crew be more explosive offensively. A little bit different with Keely Milligan at the top, and that was fun. She set the new stolen base record, 52 and counting. I think she's got up to 53. And Dorsey Steamer was at the ball game and cheering her on, and they gave her a base. It was fun. It was good stuff. So it's a little bit different of an offense. But in terms of power, this team's had a lot more power in other years. It's been a lot more explosive. And so it'll be interesting to see when it goes up against ACC pitching, SEC pitching, Big 12 pitching. Can they score runs, right? Because then you're really counting on Summer Ellison to give up 2 runs or less every time out. And those teams bring the bats with them as well. It's one thing when you're dominating Sunbelt, but then you got to step up and you got to face the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12, Pac-12, maybe Big 10. And even Jerry Glasgow mentioned it. He said he was not happy with the way they came out against Georgia State because he knows they're not very good. I mean, you don't want to put them down. You don't want to insult them. They're scrappy, right? Because they don't get run ruled until the last 2 ball games against the Cajuns. But he didn't like the way they came out, their approach early on. All right, and actually, he thinks it's interesting. Jerry Glasgow has more confidence in the girls than they may have in themselves. Well, we'll see. It's Sarah Hudak and Julie Rawls. He's moved everybody up and down all the lineup. Keely Milligan at the top, at the bottom. Alyssa Dalton, 2-3 hitter, been lower than that. Raina O'Neal batting all over the place. So we'll see. And I'll be the first to admit, I know much more about softball than I ever thought that I would. Never thought that I would know anything about women's softball. Not at all. But again, the games are fast. Usually some home runs. Usually good pitching. Usually good defense. It was not very good defense. This Georgia State was not good defensively. They were missing ground balls, missing throws at first. It was not a pretty weekend for Georgia State. But the Cajuns sweep. They get 2 more weekend series. They are at La Tech. The middle of the week. And then, what do they got? Coastal coming in here? Let me see here quickly. They do have Coastal coming in here. That may help out with the RPI. And then they're at ULM, which will not help out there. Right? The Sun Belt Conference Tournament in San Marcos. And then the NCAA Regionals. Again, I don't think the Cajuns are ranked 10th or 11th nationally, but RPI-wise, they're not. And it's very interesting. There is no choice. There's no decision in softball. They just kind of take it from the top. And this is done a week ago. I mean, UL is 19, and playing Georgia State ain't gonna help. And the RPI isn't going up. So for them to even get a regional is going to be tough. For them to even host, right? You got to be top 16. So we'll see if other teams fall. Maybe if there's Sun Belt Conference Championship, maybe that'll be the case. Stacy Small, good morning. How are you? Still on the left coast? Are you out on the left coast? Did you move out there, or did you move back to the west coast or the east coast? Good morning, nonetheless. And Uncle Vivi Asadone is watching as well. Again, Facebook Live, the Shut Up Dave podcast. We'll hopefully do this every day. Well, 5 days a week. I'm going to take the weekends off. All right. And Wednesday, I'm probably going to do it earlier because they want me over at Fox. They want me over at Fox to talk about Saints draft, which we'll do later on. Again, this team is loaded. They're just looking for depth. Oh, it's Auntie Gail. Auntie Gail is watching on Uncle Vivi's Facebook. Good morning, and we'll be back tomorrow. Again, 7 o'clock. We'll do this every day. Hopefully it'll be posted on iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify. All right, so we'll get that on there. Again, please share. Good morning, Dan Loney, former voice of the Trenton Thunder. Good morning, hope all is well. And good morning, Kimberly Hernandez. All right, by the way, special shout out. If you see it on Twitter, I need to put it on Facebook. Kimberly's husband, Matthew, did the Shut Up Dave logo. I will say, he put way too much time into making that logo. It is sincerely appreciated. We'll have t-shirts, hats, try to get some other merchandise going. Going to have a website, shutupdavepod.com. So we'll get that up and going as well. We can put up all those videos that I made of the baseball. All right. And it's Emma Piper from the PGA Tour. Good morning, Emma. It's a long time. I've been wearing, because I put on a little bit of weight, I've been wearing my 4 championship shirts. Old school. I still got the 4 championship shirts. All right. So good morning to you, Emma. All right. Please like and share on Facebook. It helps out a lot. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Thanks so much for tuning in.